Barroso is not only participant but also a motivated partner in the debates about the future of Europe. José Manuel Barroso, for all that you have accomplished in the past and all that you will continue to accomplish, we bestow upon you our university's highest award, the Honorary Doctorate from Corvinus University. It is a symbol of respect and appreciation for your lifetime of service to the European integration. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the introduction, Professor Kichman. I now request Professor Barroso, Director of Corvinus University of Budapest, to confer the title of Honorary Doctor on the candidate. I request His Excellency and the Presidium to stand up for the award.
On behalf of myself and the Senate of Corvinus University of Budapest, I am ready to confer the title of Honorary Doctor of our University of Your Excellency, José Manuel Barroso. By virtue of my position and honoring your scientific and professional work, I confer the title of Doctor Honoris Causa on you and endure you with all the rights and obligations which apply to honorary doctors by force of law and habits. I confer the title of Honorary Doctor of Social Sciences on you.
Thank you, Professor Barroso. I request the Presidium to be seated.
Mr. Rector, Professor Dr. José Manuel, distinguished representatives of the Hungarian government, of the diplomatic community, of the academic community of Hungary, the professors, students, all the members of the Corvinus University of Budapest, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very proud to be here today to receive an honorary doctorate from such an eminent institution as Corvinus University of Budapest. I know about your history. I know the attachment you have to knowledge, and how you see knowledge as the most important contribution that a man can give to society. I am especially excited to receive this doctoral honoris causa at a time we are commemorating 10 years of Hungary's accession to the European Union. An accession that, together with the other countries, marked the true reunion of the West and East. And also, I'm receiving this distinction of yours, for which I'm deeply grateful, at the moment when I'm concluding my 10 years leading the European Commission. And I'm doing this here in Corvinus University, knowing that all three Hungarian commissioners so far are former students of this university, which is so renowned for international relations, economics, and European studies, namely through its John Monnet chairs. And expertise they picked up while studying here will have served them, and therefore also served me and the European Commission as well, in good stead in the exciting but exacting years we spent together. So I hope that this commitment of Corvinus University of Budapest to European Studies will remain, and that many of your students will be active, not only, of course, in the public civic life of the country to which you belong, but also to our European Union. It has been indeed extremely challenging years. Europe has gone through momentous trials and transformations, and this is the right time and occasion to have a brief look at what we have been able to achieve through integration. But also to acknowledge that it is not always an easy process, and we need to safeguard what are the most important reasons why we need European integration. Hungary's accession 10 years ago was a milestone for the country. Its citizens have benefited as a result, and so has the European Union as a whole, because enlargement has brought the continent together again, reaffirmed the ideas and ideals Europe stands for: the logic of local integration, the power of open societies and open markets, the values of freedom and democracy, and the value of the rule of law. Yes, I say well the word values, because the European Union is built on values. When, in 2012, together with my colleagues from the European Union, I had the honor to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, attributed to the European Union, Nobel Peace Prize, was also a recognition that the European Union is much more than a market. It's much more than an economic project. It's a community based on values: the value of peace, freedom, of justice. Indeed, at the core of the European Union doctrine lies respect for human beings. Each human being. The principle of human dignity. What matters most is not the state, or the European Union, or whatever political construction. These constructions are important if they are there to serve the human dignity, to serve each man, each woman, each child. And this idea, the idea of personalism, the idea of humanism, the idea of respect for human dignity is and will continue to be the idea that inspires the European Union as a project based on values. I believe we are now coming out of a crisis that has threatened to undermine Europe's economic model and faced global complexities that have put in doubt Europe's strength. But it is good to remind ourselves now of the success European accession has been in the past, and how a more united and open Europe is the best way to strengthen our position, defend our common interests, and promote our common values in today's and tomorrow's world. Ladies and gentlemen, when Hungary exited the European Union, it did so together with 9 other countries in the largest wave of European enlargement ever. It would be wrong to consider them as only as a group. Their background, history, and character, as well as their experiences since their accession, have been very diverse. Yet, they have stood for one and the same thing. What united all of those countries in the run-up to 2004 was a sense of self-awareness, of determination, the conviction that now they would be able to make their own destiny, a shared belief that they could do so through membership of the European Union. While enlargement is the word to use when Europe's institutional framework is concerned, it was nothing less than a reunification. I indeed prefer the word reunification to the word enlargement. It was a reunification in wider cultural and societal terms, because these countries, your country, the other countries that joined the European Union recently, they had always been part of Europe. Indeed, some of you at the core of Europe. And those countries were eager to take up their rightful and natural place in Europe again. And this they did. 10 years on, we can only be proud of the transformative power of the European project and applaud the efforts made in the acceding countries to use European membership, to reconstruct their economies, to reform their institutions, and rebuild their societies. And we must also proudly acknowledge that European integration has not been a burden on countries and societies' diversity. To the contrary, European integration allows us to make our societies more vibrant, to use our sovereignty more wisely, to make our voice heard more forcefully throughout the world, to defend our ideals and our interests more effective. European unity does not stand for one size fits all, for uniformization. Unity does not mean uniformization. It's about unity in diversity, or to use the Latin expression, in varietate concordia. As a former Prime Minister of a proud and open-minded country, Portugal, a country that has more or less the same number of inhabitants as your country, as Hungary, I realize very well that Europe can only be built with nation-states, not against them, and on the basis of popular support, not in contradiction with it. But indeed, what is interesting about the European Union is that by sharing our sovereignties, we are not diminishing the power of our countries, on the contrary. We are giving them the leverage also to be stronger in the wider world. And indeed, we have seen over the years that enlargement or unification has, instead of weakening integration, has strengthened the momentum for it and deepened the realization that more Europe was often necessary. 2004 was the year I assumed the responsibility of the European Commission leadership. At that time we were 15 countries. Now we are 28 countries. So this means, ladies and gentlemen, that in the middle of so important crises, like the constitutional crisis regarding the non-ratification of the Constitution, like the financial sovereign debt crisis, in the middle of all these crises being probably the most popular word I've heard during these years in Brussels, we were able almost to double the membership of the European Union from 15 to 28 countries. And so this, I think, is a lesson. It's a lesson that confirms the extraordinary resilience of the European Union project. I remember some of the most dramatic moments I've lived during these years. I remember when many of the leaders of the big powers of the world, for instance, when we met in the G20, were asking me and my European colleagues if the euro was going to survive, if there was not going to be at least one or more countries that will leave the euro, if there was not a risk of fragmentation of the European Union. We have proved that all those negative prophecies were wrong. We have proved how strong the European Union can be because it's based on the real interdependence of our countries. And because it's, as I said, not only an economic, market-oriented project, it has to do also with a political goal, with a political attachment to a community of values. That is why I cannot be pessimistic about the European Union. I know well, by experience, the difficulties, the challenges, the extreme sensitivity of some issues that we have to discuss today between 28 countries and, of course, different European institutions. But it was always my conviction, even in the most acute moments of crisis, that the forces of integration were stronger than the forces of disintegration. I'm not suggesting that it is automatic. I'm not suggesting